In today's video, we'll be covering graphing and writing equations of lines. First, we need to talk about slope. Slope is just the change in y divided by the change in x. You might also hear slope referred to as rate of change in a problem. And we need to remember that when we're looking at a graph, this is the rise and this is the run. And so this slope would be a negative 2/3. So sometimes we have to find the slope of a line using the formula for slope, which is m equals y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1, the change in y divided by the change in x. So the first thing I need to do is label my points. So I've labeled my points, and now I'm just going to put those points in the formula. So we get m equals 2 minus 6 divided by 1 minus 3. So I get a slope of negative 4 over negative 2, which reduces to the number 2. On the next slide, we have 2 points were given, and we've both plotted those points and we've shown the formula also. So when I use the formula, 2 minus 2, getting the y's, I get a 0 in the numerator, and 0 divided by any number is just 0. So any horizontal line has a slope of 0. So if I'm just given the picture, this is how I remember it. I can write a z along that horizontal line like that. Next, we have used the formula with these points and also plotted them, and they form a vertical line. And when I use the formula here, I get a 0 in the denominator. I cannot divide by 0, and therefore the slope is undefined. And so just looking at the graph, I can draw a U on my graph for undefined. And here's just a quick refresher on types of slope. Here we have a positive slope because I'm increasing from left to right, negative slope because I'm decreasing from left to right. Again, horizontal lines have 0 slope, and vertical lines have an undefined slope. Now here we have a review of slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form is given by y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. And remember, the y-intercept is written as an ordered pair. And so in this particular equation, I have a slope of 3 and a y-intercept that is 0, negative 4. Here I have a slope of 3/8 and a y-intercept of 0, 1/4. So if I'm given an equation in which I want to know the slope and y-intercept, I first need to solve that equation for y so that I can get it into slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. And so here, we've solved this equation for y by moving the 5, subtracting it to the other side, and dividing by 3. Therefore, my slope is negative 5 over 3, and my y-intercept is 0, 2/3. And now we're moving on to writing equations. In this example, it says find the equation of the line with a slope of 2/3 and a y-intercept of negative 5. So when they give me the slope, m, and the y-intercept, b, all I have to do is replace m and b in slope-intercept form. And so here is this equation. When graphing, I always begin with the y-intercept, begin with b. So we'll always graph the y-intercept first. And so what we've done is graph a point on the y-axis at 2, because that's the y-intercept. And my slope in this case is a negative 3 over 2. Now we need to be careful that we don't put a negative with 3 and with 2, because if I do that, that makes a positive slope. So my slope, negative 3 over 2, this is how I get 3 units down, because that's negative, and 2 units to the right, because that's positive. So keep in mind Slope is rise over run again. If this is positive, I go up, negative down. If this is positive, I go right, and negative left. And so after I have plotted my y-intercept, from that point I use my slope. So I've gone down 3 units and to the right 2 units to put another point. And I can do it again and again as many times as I need to make the straightest line possible. Okay, in this next example we have to write an equation of a line that passes through the point 4, -3 and has a slope of 5. And I'm going to write this equation in slope-intercept form. And in order to get to slope-intercept form, I'm actually going to use point-slope form. In point-slope form, I have to replace 3 things. I'm going to be replacing y1, I'm going to be replacing m, and I'm going to be replacing x1. So now I'm going to label my points. Here's x1, y1, and m. And I'm going to replace those in my equation. So I get y minus, and instead of y1, I put -3. And then I'm going to replace my m with 5. Then I will be replacing x1 with +4. So once I've replaced my y1, m, and x1, all I have to do to get it into slope-intercept form is to distribute the 5. So I've distributed my 5, and then I'm going to subtract the 3. So y equals 5x minus 23. Slope-intercept form, if the problem had just wanted point-slope form, I could have stopped here. So this is point-slope, and then we've got slope-intercept form here. In this last example, they've given me 2 points, and I have to write the equation. So I actually need to find the formula. Use the formula for slope first to find the slope. So there's my formula. I'm just going to replace my y's and x's with the points that I've been given. So there they are substituted in. 4 minus 3 in the numerator is 3. 7 minus a -2 is 9 in the denominator. So I have a slope of 1/3. Now once I have my slope, I'm just going to choose one of the pairs of points. I'm going to choose to use this one to use in my point slope formula to get my equation. So here's point slope form. Remember, I'll be replacing y1, m, and x1. There it is with my value substituted in for those letters. And if they had asked for a point slope form of the equation, I could stop here. If you're asked for a slope-intercept form, we need to continue by distributing the 1/3 first and then moving the -4 to the other side. So that gives me y minus 4 equals 1/3 x minus 7/3. My last step will be to add the 4, so I get y equals 1/3 x plus 5/3. Oops, that should be 5/3. And so here's the slope-intercept form, and then this would be the point-slope form. I'll see you tomorrow.